In the annals of history, few events have reshaped a nation's destiny as dramatically as Operation Ajax.
In 1953, a secret mission orchestrated by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, and Britain's MI6 toppled Iran's first democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. This covert operation was shrouded in secrecy for decades but has since become a symbol of foreign intervention and its enduring consequences.
To understand Operation Ajax, we must first delve into the geopolitical landscape of the early 20th century.
Iran, a nation rich in oil resources, had long been a battleground for foreign powers.
Its oil industry, controlled by the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, was a major economic asset for Britain but a source of resentment for Iranians. For decades, Iranians saw the profits from their oil enriching foreign coffers while their own economy languished in poverty. In 1951, Mohammad Mossadegh emerged as a leader determined to reclaim Iran's sovereignty.
His bold decision to nationalize the oil industry resonated deeply with the Iranian people but set the stage for a showdown with the West.
Britain, unwilling to lose control over Iranian oil, sought the support of its ally, the United States. What followed was a series of covert actions that would forever alter Iran's political landscape.
The roots of Operation Ajax lie in the broader geopolitical landscape of the mid-20th century. World War II had reshaped the global order, and the Cold War had divided the world into two ideological camps, the capitalist West, led by the United States, and the communist East, dominated by the Soviet Union. Iran, with its vast oil reserves and strategic location, became a focal point in this power struggle. British dominance over Iran's oil industry had been cemented through the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, a symbol of Western exploitation to the Iranian people.
When Mossadegh nationalized the oil industry, it not only struck a blow to British interests but also raised fears in Washington that a resource-rich Iran could align with the Soviet Union.
This was a scenario the West was determined to prevent at any cost.
In the corridors of power in Washington and London, plans were laid to remove Mossadegh. Britain's appeals to the U.S. aligned with Cold War anxieties.
In 1953, President Dwight D. Eisenhower approved the operation, viewing it as a necessary step to prevent Iran from falling into the Soviet sphere of influence.
The operation, codenamed Ajax, was spearheaded by the CIA's Middle East specialist, Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the grandson of President Theodore Roosevelt.
With $1 million allocated for bribes and propaganda, the CIA began its campaign.
The plan involved discrediting Mossadegh, stoking public unrest, and rallying military officers loyal to the Shah. The propaganda machine went into overdrive.
Iranian newspapers, secretly funded by the CIA, published stories portraying Mossadegh as a communist and a threat to Islam.
Demonstrations were organized to create the illusion of widespread opposition to his government.
Behind the scenes, military officers were bribed to turn against Mossadegh when the time was right.
This complex web of deception and manipulation culminated in August 1953.
The first attempt to oust Mossadegh failed, forcing the Shah to flee to Italy.
However, the CIA persisted. On August 19, chaos erupted in Tehran. Riots engulfed the city as mobs, some paid by the CIA, clashed in the streets.
Military units loyal to the Shah stormed Mossadegh's residence, leading to his arrest and the end of his government. With Mossadegh out of the picture, the Shah returned to Iran, consolidating his power with American and British backing. The coup restored Western control over Iranian oil. A new consortium was formed, giving American, British, and other Western oil companies a significant share of Iran's oil wealth. For the West, it was a victory, but for Iran, it marked the beginning of a dark chapter. The Shah ruled as an authoritarian monarch, relying on a secret police force known as SAVAK to suppress dissent. While Iran experienced rapid modernization under the Shah, the regime's repressive tactics alienated large segments of the population. Over time, resentment against foreign interference and the Shah's rule grew, sowing the seeds of the 1979 Islamic Revolution.
Operation Ajax also had far-reaching implications for U.S. Iran relations.
For many Iranians, the coup was a betrayal, a stark reminder of Western powers prioritizing their interests over Iran's sovereignty. This mistrust continues to shape perceptions of the United States in Iran and beyond.
The shadow of Operation Ajax looms large over history.
It serves as a cautionary tale of the unintended consequences of intervention. The coup temporarily secured Western access to Iranian oil and reinforced America's position in the Cold War.
Yet, it also destabilized Iran's political system, leading to decades of unrest and hostility. For the CIA, Operation Ajax was a blueprint for future covert operations.
It demonstrated the power of propaganda, manipulation, and alliances with local actors. However, it also highlighted the ethical dilemmas and long-term costs of such missions.
For Iran, the coup remains a painful memory.
It was a moment when the aspirations of a nation were crushed under the weight of foreign agendas. Even as decades pass, the story of Operation Ajax resonates as a symbol of sovereignty lost and the enduring struggle for self-determination. As we reflect on this pivotal event, we are reminded that history is not just a series of dates and events but a mosaic of decisions, actions, and their profound consequences. Operation Ajax stands as a lesson in the complexities of geopolitics, the perils of intervention, and the resilience of a nation's spirit.
The success of Operation Ajax hinged on meticulous planning and a range of covert tactics. The CIA utilized every tool at its disposal.
Propaganda: Iranian newspapers were paid to spread false stories, painting Mossadegh as a communist sympathizer and enemy of Islam.
Bribery: politicians, military leaders, and street gangs were financially incentivized to join the anti-Mossadegh movement. Staged protests, demonstrations were orchestrated to simulate grassroots opposition to Mossadegh's government, creating a facade of public unrest.
Direct military action: key military figures, bribed in advance, were instructed to seize control during the chaos. Kermit Roosevelt Jr. operated from the shadows, coordinating these efforts with precision. Despite setbacks, including an initial failure that led the Shah to flee, the CIA doubled down, ensuring that Mossadegh's government was overthrown by sheer force and subterfuge. Decades after Operation Ajax, its legacy continues to shape U.S. Iran relations. The mistrust sown by the coup has persisted, influencing everything from diplomatic negotiations to regional security dynamics. For Iranians, the 1953 coup was more than a historical event, it is a symbol of foreign exploitation and the struggle for self-determination. As global powers navigate the complexities of modern geopolitics, Operation Ajax serves as a reminder of the unintended consequences of intervention. It highlights the importance of respecting national sovereignty and understanding the cultural and historical context of foreign nations. The lessons of Operation Ajax are especially relevant in today's interconnected world. They urge caution against repeating the mistakes of the past and call for a renewed focus on diplomacy, mutual respect, and sustainable partnerships. Operation Ajax was a turning point in global history, a moment when the ambitions of world powers collided with the aspirations of a nation. It is a story of manipulation, resilience, and the far-reaching consequences of short-term gains. As we revisit this pivotal chapter, we are reminded of the enduring impact of our actions on the lives of individuals and nations. History is not just a record of the past, it is a guide for the future, urging us to tread carefully in the pursuit of power and influence.